When it comes to work comp insurance, you have the option of excluding coverage for owners, partners, and family members so you can lower your insurance premiums. But before making that decision, it's important to understand the risks involved. Let's talk about why excluding owners, partners, or family members from your work comp policy needs careful thought and what it means to everyone involved. It's important to remember that work comp status differs from state to state. For example, there are situations in which you, the employer or partner, can choose to exclude yourself, your spouses, your children, and relatives if the correct criteria are met. The following is taken from the Minnesota Department of Labor's website regarding who can be excluded. If you meet any one of these, you have the option to exclude coverage. The first one mentioned talks about family farm corporations. And because I don't have any farms as clients, I'm just going to go ahead and skip this one. Number 2 is closely held corporations, defined as executive officers owning at least 25% of the stock of closely held corporations that have 10 or fewer stockholders, shareholders, and had less than 22,880 hours of payroll in the preceding calendar year. The officer's spouse, parents, and children, regardless of age, are also automatically excluded. And the last one is limited liability companies. Managers of LLCs having 10 or fewer members and having less than 22,880 hours of payroll in the preceding calendar year. If that manager owns at least 25% interest in the company, the manager's spouse, parents, and children, regardless of age, are also automatically excluded. So what is this saying? If you have about 11 full-time employees or less, because a full-time employee works about 2,000 hours a year times 11, that's 22,000 payroll hours. So if you have about 11 full-time employees or less, and you own at least 25% of the company, you have the option of excluding yourself from work comp coverage. Typically, you are automatically excluded from coverage, and you need to speak up if you want to be included in the coverage. And the same goes for your spouse, kids, and parents. So please remember, if you have a small company and you want work comp coverage for yourself or family members, speak to your agent and make sure this automatic exclusion is removed. Now, if your company is over 11 employees or over 22,880 payroll hours, this whole exclusion thing is not an option in Minnesota, but your state might be different. The important thing to understand is that work comp insurance exclusion from coverage exists, and you need to decide if you want to be excluded or not, and then talk to your agent to find out how the policy is currently written. Now, to help you make a more informed decision, you need to consider that many health insurance plans exclude coverage for work-related injuries and illnesses. Their stance is that these things should be paid by the work comp insurance and not the health insurance. It's been explained to me that minor work-related injuries or illnesses will commonly go unnoticed by the health insurance carrier and they pay those smaller claims, but the more expensive, the bigger workplace injuries and illnesses are scrutinized by the health insurance claim adjuster and much more likely to be denied. So imagine this. You or your family member who works with you is driving to a work-related meeting or to check on a project. Another driver runs a red light and hits you, causing $500,000 of medical bills and rehab. The other driver is uninsured or has the state minimum coverage, which is $30,000 for bodily injury in Minnesota, leaving you with $470,000 in unpaid medical bills. So you go to your underinsured coverage on your personal auto policy, but you're declined because you're driving a vehicle listed on your business insurance policy or using a personal vehicle for business use. So you go to your health insurance company. But they decline the claim because the injury occurred while performing business-related activities. Then you go to your commercial auto insurance policy, and they decline because it falls under your work comp policy. Finally, you go to your work comp policy and you're declined once again because you chose to exclude coverage on yourself so you could save about $400 a year. Or a more simple example would be you develop a respiratory illness from asbestos or toxic gases, silica, or whatever, and the necessary expensive treatment is denied by your health insurance because they determine it's work-related. You don't want to be penny wise and pound foolish when it comes to excluding coverage because in many cases, it really doesn't cost that much to remove the exclusion. Now, a couple questions you want to ask yourself before we go are any owners, partners, or family member employees excluded from coverage on the work comp policy? Is there an exclusion in our group health insurance policy for work-related injuries? So when choosing to exclude owner, partners, or family members from your work comp insurance coverage, we need to consider all the risks and benefits and then make an educated decision. By making smart choices and looking out for everyone's well-being, including your own, we can stay safe in the long run. Please remember, as your company grows, you will have more clients, more assets, more employees, and more obligations, which means you're going to have more risk. And therefore, you need more than just business insurance. You need to add risk management. Now, Risk-Surance is a blend of risk management and business insurance, all designed to make your life easier. So let us know how we can help and stay safe out there.